The first time I was there, we were above a bowling alley. They kind of threw the beer bottles. It was a lodge, and they kind of swept the floor and threw the beer bottles away. And I tell you, that was a humble service. I mean, it was a hard beginning. That was the first time that I went. And even then, Jerry and I were drawn to the Lord.
The Awana program and Sunday night service, there's something about just that feeling of a Sunday night service, that we'd go to, and it was a little more relaxed. So we were allowed to stray from mom and dad and hide under the pews and kind of run around the church a little bit more. And then the Awana program, just the compassion that the leaders would show. The care, you could tell that they cared for all the kids that were there, and what an important program that is. So.
My first memory was probably in Cubbies when I got my first award for finishing the book.
My favorite memory is when I was on the pulpit committee, the search committee, and we were calling pastors. And we just seemed as a group not to be making progress in finding a pastor that everybody thought was special. And one but a tape came of a sermon from a young pastor out in South Dakota. And so we got that in the mail, and Pastor Brian saw our ad, and he sent us the tape. So we put the tape in the tape player. We started listening to Pastor Brian, just as a young preacher, start preaching. And everybody just kind of put down their pens and pencils, and we just sat and listened. And we were just really taken in a special way by what he was talking about, he was preaching. So it was my job to give him a call the next day and said, yes, we met, and we liked what we heard. We'd like to know more. So as we started talking, we found out that he was in the same college class as our daughter, Corey. And when I heard that, I was really excited, and I called Corey, and I said, Corey, there's a young man that has applied for a pastor position. And Corey said, a lot of those young guys, they still have a lot to learn. But she said, there was one pastor, young man, that I thought was head and shoulders above all the other pastors. Young guys right out of school. And I said, would his name happen to be Brian Whipf? And she said, that is the same guy. And Pastor Brian, when I told him this story later, he went and told Corby, he said, there's too many things that are just really special about how this is all working together. I have a feeling we're going to be in Medford.
There was a time when Jerry's mother was dying, and she was at home, and we were all gathered together, and it was on a Sunday morning, and around noon there was a knock on the door, and most of the members of the church came. That wasn't real many, but most of them came. And one was a nurse. The pastor's wife was a nurse. She asked, have you bathed, Grandma? And we said, well, no. We didn't know we were supposed to, really. Well, she got some water and she bathed Grandma, and she said, I'll be here tomorrow to take care of her again. And when they were done visiting, they didn't stay long. When they were done, they said, could we just hold hands and pray? And we held hands in the living room, and they prayed. And our hearts were just so softened, and they left. When the afternoon was there, the Ernie and Jerry went home to do the chores, and they said, "You stay here, and we'll go to church." No, I'll take that back. It was Sunday when we were writing out thank you cards. And then they said, "You stay here and we'll do chores and we'll come back." And so they did. And our hearts were soft. And we listened to the message and they asked us, "Would you like to make Jesus your Savior?" And Jerry and I and Ruthie and Ernie got up and walked to the front because we had made a decision. We were ready. We were ready to give our life to the Lord, and we've never turned back. It was the best decision we could have made in our whole life.
I have a hunch that he would say, "What in the world took you so long?" Because he was promoting that and inviting people. He was he and Eldon were the two that were really excited about this for a long time. And I think that's what they'd say. "What in the world took you so long?"
I really think he would have already told 300 people exactly when they need to be there when the doors will open.